this is Sabina at Cross Keys Crafts with a hopefully really quick Easter card. I have to start thinking about making Easter cards because some of them need to be sent out to Germany. And I'm picking up from something I showed you last week. I found out that normal Vaseline works like microglaze and works like a mask. So I can stamp an image and colour it in and then go over it with my gel plate and basically avoid stamping on the image itself, or I do stamp on it but it resists. I can take the ink off and then I basically create the background after stamping it. And I thought I'll make use of that idea and create an Easter card. So I've got Lupin here. I've already stamped him just in my VersaFine Clair Onyx Black. I left it to dry a little bit, and I have got my elliptical printing press from Lavinia. I've taken that out. You don't need to have an oval one. I actually have got a video on my channel. I try to remember to link it below, where I show you how to create a mask and use an ordinary gel plate, any size, to stamp. I just wanted to, before I come in with that, I just wanted to colour this in really quickly. I have just picked 2 Kuretake pens. Always check the right number. I picked up the wrong one before and had a really dark Lupin. I didn't want that, so I've just got oatmeal here, and I've got a light pink, that's 26 and 64, just to colour him in a little bit. I think with Vaseline, you don't even need to colour him in, but I thought I'd give him a little bit of colour, otherwise he might be too stark white compared to the background. And we don't need to do any shading. Let me zoom in as well a little bit, because Tracy's done that with her stamps. All the shading is there, so I really just need to colour it in like this. So I will speed this up for the video quickly, but it should not take me longer than 2 minutes. I should maybe not have coloured in the eye there, but I can always come in with a gel pen afterwards. So that's all I need to do. So now I tell you what, I'm preparing the gel press a little bit because I'm going to mist it anyway. I think I'll be fine, and I'm just leaving that to dry just a moment before I apply this. So the gel press, it looks like a Virgin gel press, but I'm sure I've used it once before. Just checking that there's a little bit of floof on the top, so try to get those off. Although I find with a gel press, because you sort of can never predict really anyway the outcome, I'm happy with it having some sort of blemishes on them. So my idea was to put a colour down just with my brayer, so I picked the Sundance here to have a little bit of yellow. So I'm just really just going lightly over this, but making sure I've got colour right to the edges. Don't mind it pooling a little bit on top. Just show you that against the light, because I want to come in with quite a bit of mist anyway, because my idea was I would like to use my Dinkles as well. And I've got the yellow here and the Lime Divine, but I'm just thinking I'd better put some paper down underneath. So I'm just spraying them a little bit on top as I normally do. So I'm just giving that a little bit of a tap. These are very vibrant colours. You will see in a moment, if you've never seen Dinkles, what they do. And because I can't control 100% whether I'm going to all the edges, that's why I put the ink down underneath. So I'm leaving that to the side at the moment whilst I'm applying my Vaseline. I should call it petroleum jelly really, because I'm using a brand name here for something that is not a branded product. So that's what it is, petroleum jelly. So as last time, I'm just using a brush, getting a bit of that on top. You can take a bit off afterwards, and I'm just applying this all over. I'm not sure this is the best brush for it. I have to check it a bit against the light afterwards whether I've applied it everywhere. If a little bit comes through, I'm not even too bothered about that, but I want to cover most of this image. So if I hold it against the light now, I can see where I've applied it. You only need a thin layer, so I'm trying to take a little bit off again. So I think this will be enough. I'm working on my usual 300 GSM, by the way. Apologies, it's a little bit dark here. It's only night time, and sometimes my camera is good with that, sometimes it isn't. So now coming back to this, so I'm going to activate the Dinkles by just spritzing some water on this. I'm hoping it'll just be mist and not too many fat drops. So I'm holding my hand here because the water mist will actually loosen the particles and they will end up on my desk. So I'm leaving that to sit for a moment for the Dinkles to be activated. Trying to zoom in a little bit without losing too much in this picture frame. So, and then I like to actually, you can see where the yellow has spread here. And then I like to put my picture this way, and I'm just using the acetate that this is on to apply the gel plate because then I can see where I'm putting it. So, and I am working, by the way, on an A5 sheet, so I just halved the A4 sheet because I wanted to have a bigger piece to work with, and then I will cut it down afterwards, probably to a 5x7 card. So on the advantage of doing it this way around, you can see where you need to press a little bit more, and I'm leaving that to sit. And when I finish with this, I am actually turning it upside down like a pancake, and then I'm peeling it off. So I'm holding on to the acetate, and there we go. So I have got a bit of leaking here, but I think that might just sit on the top. So I'm getting my bamboo toilet paper. Any toilet paper, any kitchen roll is fine. I'm not advertising this either. Oh, it has bled a little bit on it, so maybe because it's sat on there too long. But as I said before, I don't mind that because most of the image is still clear. And there we go. There's a bit of the Dinkles ended up on here where they're sort of a bit grainy, but I think this is lovely. I really like that, and I don't mind it leaking there. So I will do another one because I've actually got a stencil here, and I thought I'd give it a trial run what I can do with a stencil. So I'm preparing one more lupin. I had planned to have another one ready, but as I said, I picked the wrong colour there. And I might even give him a different colour. I'll have a look, and I'll be coming back then. So I've cleaned off my brayer just by rolling it. I have stamped off the residue here on the gel press, so that is almost clean. I can actually still see a little bit of an outline here of lupin. I'm not fussed about that. I have coloured in my hair here. Zooming in a little bit again. This time I used the 28, the pale pink for the ears, and 91, a cool grey. I've already applied the petroleum jelly, and now I'm inking up my gel press here. I will use some mermaid here for the base layer. So, and by the way, I'm not an expert in gel pressing. I just sometimes go along with what I feel like. I wouldn't even say there is a science to it. It is actually a great thing to play with. So the only thing is you need to remember, don't press too hard when you move the colour about, because you don't want to take more off than you actually applied. So I've done that. I've got a base player. Now I am taking my stencil and I'm just pressing that down. I need a bit of scrap paper, because all I'm doing now is pressing that ink onto the stencil and taking it off. So you are actually left, this is good as well, you can show you that in a moment, you can use that as well. And I don't know if you can see this. Ooh, difficult to see. You actually have got the pattern here on the gel press. So I can do either. I can either print with this now, or I can apply more ink. But actually I haven't got a contrasting ink ready there, so I think I will actually use this as it is. So again, turning this over, try not to put my finger on the gel press, and then I'm stamping over, looping here. And again, I can see where I need to press a little bit, making sure I've got the shape of the oval, because I want this to mimic the egg for Easter. So, and then as before, lifting it up, and then I'm peeling this off. Look at that. Again, I've got a bit of residue there, so I'm coming in again with my toilet paper, making sure I'm not using any of the yellow ones that are stained. Oops. Yeah, I've got quite a bit of residue of the blue here, so better not wipe it, but better press it down and take it off. Let me take a new piece. That's probably the better option, because if I sort of wipe it and I'm moving it about, yeah, that's better. So you see how much comes off. And also, once I have taken the ink off that sits on top, because obviously it resists, then I can take the remainder of the Vaseline, or sorry, the petroleum jelly off a little bit. It's not a perfect science. I don't know what results you get with the actual microglaze that you can buy, but I'm happy with that. And I will also actually take the remainder of the petroleum jelly off of this one, because I know this is still quite shiny, so there is definitely some residue still there. Because it's a bit greasy, I think the tissue paper is probably better than using ordinary paper, because I'm sure that it absorbs it a little bit. So I've still got some coming off. So, but yeah, I think this is really cool. So I just wanted to show you this here now, how you can use this. So don't waste something if you got, camera doesn't even pick it up. I think, oh, it's because it's upside down. Silly me. So I've got the gel press here, so I've got a spare piece of paper. So I'm going to mist that a little bit on the side here, just to activate the ink again. And then I'm going to sit this down. Oops, try not to move it. Take my scrap, put it on the top, and press this down. There we go. And then you get this sort of image. I really like that. It's very faint on camera, but I really like that. You basically get an outline of the actual stencil there. And I can come in with my gel plate and stamp over that. I think I will do that. Just a lighter colour, and then I can use that as well. Obviously not necessarily for looping, because he's an open stamp, but I could use some silhouette stamps on that. I have cut my pieces to size, so just under 5 inches, sort of like 4 3/4 by 6 3/4 to go on a 5 by 7 card base. And I think all this needs is really just a sentiment, maybe a little butterfly for looping to look at. I do like that. But if you want to elevate your cards, I suggest coming with something else. This one, as it is fairly busy with a stencil pattern already, so I probably wouldn't add too much here, but I can show you in a moment what you can do. With this one here, I have decided to come in with a stencil and add a little bit of stenciling just in the top left corner and the bottom right, basically for him to have something to look at and also to ground him a little bit here. So I have picked this one here. As always, I can never remember what it's called, but I will link to it below. And I think I would like these leaves to come in from the top here. Just having a look which area I like, because they are sort of different. And don't forget, if your stencil is clean, you can turn it the other way around. I think I actually like the little ones here because I have this sort of this movement. So I've got my Elements Pine ink here. I have got a stencil brush, which might have a bit of residue of blue, but that's okay. So I'm filling up my brush, going in here, and I'm starting in the corner. I'll tell you what, I will actually turn it this way around because then it'll be easier for me to have the right movement. I'm just holding it down with my hand, and as Joe Rice always says, just tickle it to start with. Start from the corner. And I do want to go over the oval. I want to blend into the oval, but at the same time I want to sort of fade it out. With it though being sort of this sort of shape, you have to have a bit of a circular motion as well though, but not to start with. To start with, you really want to just tickle it. So, and to see what happens, you basically keep your finger on there like a hinge, and then you can lift it up. And can you see I've got quite a bit of ink down already, so I think I'll fade it out. It does disappear a little bit on top of here, but that's okay. So I think I'm fine with that. So I'm not quite sure how well the camera picks it up in this light, but we've got definitely some interest there. So I want to do the same at the bottom, and I think I just pick the same area. So again, sometimes I forget to dab it off, or I don't know if you noticed before I went back in. So again, tickling. It's almost not tickling. I think I'm not very good at tickling. So, and then when you've applied some ink, basically go around in circular motions and let it fade out a little bit. I think at the bottom I want a little bit more, so I'm going a little bit more over here and then work my way down. So again, I can lift up and check. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Maybe a little bit darker down here, but I'm not loading up the brush, I'm just increasing the pressure. Yeah, I'm happy with that. You could do it all the way around, but I find by just having it in two corners, it sort of draws the eye in, and it also works with the angle that Lupin is in. I think this is really nice, and it just, I think it elevates a card when you do that. So I'm going to find a sentiment. I don't think Lavinia stamps do a Happy Easter sentiment. I might even have a German one. I'll have a look in my stash, and I will also quickly off camera find my hair stamps, my silhouette stamps, to stamp them on this one. But I wanted to show you what I would like to do with this one, because I think we can add some flowers or so here, again to give it a little bit of a frame and some interest. For this card I got out two stamp sets. One is the moss flowers, and one is the flower collection. And I have picked the smallest flower here. I think these are a bit too big to go on the top here. They might work on the bottom, but I thought I'd just stick with this one here. And I've also got this element here, which I thought would be nice just to fill it a little bit. I want to make it look like a little, well, part of a wreath or something like that. So my idea is to just stamp it, and I'm not stamping it in black because I don't want to take the focus away from Lupin. So I'm just stamping him in the Warm Breeze, and I think I'll do the same with the piece here of greenery. I might do second generation there. So I'm just really just placing one here, and I already know that I will come in with my Kuretake pen afterwards and colour these in a little bit. So my idea was just to have a little bit here, because I don't want to do anything fancy with the masking. So I really want to just place them a bit randomly down here. Maybe one at this angle so I can put them closer together. And maybe turn it even the other way around. And again, I've got 3 here, 2 there, because I'm going a bit heavier at the bottom. So that's that. With this flourish, I will actually grab a little piece of paper. Oh, it's a bit of a thicker cardstock, just in case I need to mask something. I'm just testing whether I want first generation or second generation. So I think, yeah, I think it will have to be first generation. So, but I'm going to just place this over here, and we'll just add this on this side because I don't want the stamp to go over the flower. And I will do the same at the bottom here. Sorry, my brain's just not functioning. I do have these moments. Yeah, I like that because we've got this sort of bow here. At the top here, I don't want to have too much, you know, sort of over his nose. So I think either I will pick a different leaf or I just leave it like this. I think it's quite nice as it is. So I will finish all these cards off camera because I don't want to make this video too long, and then I will show you the finished cards and talk you through what I have added. I have finished 2 of the cards. So with this one here, I added the butterfly. I coloured that in yellow, and I also added some shimmer pen. I thought it needed something. But then I didn't quite like the white space on this, so I added some yellow, or rather gold splats. This is my acrylic glitter marker, and I quite like the look of that. But I also decided to matte it on some yellow cardstock before I put it down on the card base. I thought that framed it quite nicely, and I like to pick up colours from the actual image. I did not have quite the right cardstock actually. Don't know if you can see that. This was a bit light, so I just used my Sundance ink, the same that I have used for the gel plate, and I have just inked it up just around the edges, just with a blending brush, and now it looks like it's a similar colour. So I'm pleased with this now. And at the moment I haven't added a sentiment. It might be tricky now as well, now that I've put the gold splats on there, because they will resist any sentiment. But I couldn't find my Easter sentiments anyway, so never mind. I will put something on the inside and maybe just leave it as it is. This, by the way, is my shimmer pen. I've got the Spectrum Noir. Every time I look for it, it's not available anymore, but it's like a wink of Stella. They all work the same way. With this one, I've also matted that on some light blue cardstock. I've added the shimmer pen as well, and I coloured them in with my Zig marker, but I only had one. This is number 31, but I only had one that was a sort of a lighter blue. So I also used the blue Atoll ink. I put that on a little acrylic block, and use that with a little bit of water and with the shimmer pen as well. You can pick it up with a shimmer pen, and I used that to colour these in as well. Where I had the stencil image underneath, that obviously is water reactive as well, so that blended in as well in the flowers, and I think this is really pretty. Oh, and before I forget to say that, on both cards I grounded the hairs a little bit. I just used a very thin blending brush or stencil brush, and I just used a little bit of truffle here, so some brown underneath, and here I can't remember, I went in with a sort of medium blue, just a little bit for the hairs to sit on. With the third one, although I really like this, I just stamped all the 3 whimsical hairs, but I'm a bit undecided what I want to do with this now. And it's one of those sessions, I'm really happy with these, but I've already dropped 3 ink pads, luckily not on here, but I've got Butterfingers, and I don't want to do anything more because I know it'll go wrong. That it's one of those sessions. It's 8:30. I think I should call it a night and leave it as this. But yeah, I'm really pleased with these. I hope you like the idea of using the petroleum jelly as an ink resist. I quite enjoyed getting my gel plate out again. I think I mentioned that recently in a video. Sometimes I forget about techniques that I really enjoy, so I thought that was good fun. Yeah, and if you like these cards too, you might want to give me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more of what I'm creating, you might want to subscribe to my channel. I'd be very happy about that. And I'll see you soon with another video.